It's 3 a.m. and you're awake again. Not from a nightmare, not from noise. Your eyes just opened and the ceiling is all there is. You check your phone. You do the math on lost sleep. Then panic sets in. Something must be wrong with you. But the real answer is far stranger than insomnia. For most of human history, waking at night wasn't a malfunction. It was the schedule. Start with a historian. His name is Roger E. Kirch, and for years he read diaries, court records, and prayer books from pre-industrial Europe. A strange phrase kept surfacing. People wrote about their first sleep and their second sleep, as if one night's rest came in two pieces. He found thousands of these references in a dozen languages, going back to Homer. Households across early modern Europe went to bed soon after dark, slept 3 or 4 hours, then simply woke up. Not from stress. On schedule, almost every night. What did they do with that time? Some prayed, some had sex, some sat by the embers and talked. Some just lay there, turning over a dream, before drifting back into a second sleep that carried them to dawn. This window even had a name: the watch. Nobody treated it as a problem. It was just part of the night, the way dusk is part of the evening. A whole continent sleeping in 2 shifts for centuries until the habit quietly vanished in the 19th century. Here's where the story could get simple. Ancient humans slept in 2 segments. Electric light broke that pattern. End of story. Tidy. Also not the whole picture, because a very different researcher went looking and found something else. His name is Jerome Siegel, a sleep scientist at UCLA. Instead of reading old diaries, he studied people alive today who sleep closest to how humans did before electricity. The Hadza of Tanzania, the San of Namibia, the Simane of Bolivia. No artificial light, no clocks. If segmented sleep is written into our biology, this is where it should show up. Siegel's team tracked 94 people across 3 continents for over 1,000 nights. They looked for a first sleep and a second sleep. They didn't find one. These communities slept in a single block, often under 6.5 hours. No midnight wandering, no watch. 3 populations, different continents, different genetics, and none of them split the night. Some of these languages don't even have a word for insomnia. So which is it? 2-shift sleepers or 1-shift sleepers? Probably both, depending on when and where you ask. Human sleep was never one fixed ancient program. It was adjustable, shaped by climate, daylight, and culture. Siegel found a clue why: body temperature. Sleep began as night temperatures dropped, and people woke as temperatures climbed near dawn. Not a clock, not a habit. Temperature, the same falling temperature that still nudges your own body towards sleep tonight, whether you notice it or not. So why does 3 a.m. feel like failure instead of routine? A researcher at the University of Colorado Boulder, Kenneth Wright, sent campers into the wilderness for a week. No phones, no flashlights, only sunlight and firelight. He measured their melatonin before and after. In 1 week outdoors, their internal clocks matched the sun almost exactly. Melatonin rose near real sunset instead of nearly 2 hours later. People fell asleep and woke earlier, without an alarm. Their bodies weren't fighting the dark anymore. They were listening to it again. The switch on your wall was never just making the room brighter. Every night of your life, it has nudged your internal clock a little later, and your body followed the bulb instead of the sun. So here's what was actually happening. Sometimes ancestors split the night in 2. Sometimes, without electricity, people slept straight through, rising and falling with the temperature outside. There's no single ancient blueprint hiding in you. There's a system built to adapt, still doing its job, just aimed at a different world now. What almost never happened, before the last century or so, was lying awake at 3 a.m., glowing under a phone screen, certain something in you had failed. Your ancestors didn't fear that window. Many expected it, even used it. You, meanwhile, were taught that one unbroken 8-hour block is the only correct way to sleep, and anything else is a disorder to fix. That belief is barely 2 centuries old. So the next time midnight wakes you, there's another option. You're not failing at sleep. You may just be visiting a room in the human night people used to know well. Some prayed there, some talked quietly, some just lay still, listening to a dream fade, waiting for the night to finish on its own. You don't have to reach for your phone in that window. You could stay in the dark a while and let an old patient rhythm carry you the rest of the way to morning, because it's 3 a.m. and you're awake again. And maybe that was never the problem to begin with.